So this morning, let's see who we got with us this morning. This morning we have this morning on the bass, Bruce Lett. On the percussion, Oliver Brown. And joining us this morning on trumpet, you probably heard that yesterday, right? Jim Hale on the trumpet, there he is. And with us this morning, one of my good buddies for many, for a while. Harold and I go back a ways. Harold Payne is with us this morning. Harold Payne, what more do you want for your morning other than to have our singing group, The Expressions, come up and sing with us? Come on, The Expressions, we call them. It's... I know. Don't you love this? Huh? You were looking good now. So wave when I say your name. Shauna.
What?
Shauna. Katrina. Anna Marie. Okay? I know. And now it's your turn. Get up and let's sing. Get up and let's sing.
Here we go. We are your official backup singers.
Awesome. Please take that energy you're feeling and greet your neighbor with love.
Good morning. Lots of hugging and greeting and good stuff going on. Welcome, everyone. My name is Jan Mintz, and I am a volunteer here at the Redondo Beach Center for Spiritual Living. I get to come cash today because it is chili cook-off. So you guys got to come over, try my Science of Turkey black bean chili. So I know we're going to hear more about it in the announcements, but I love this event because it's just such a family thing. You know, I don't know, our family's had chili cook-offs, and you know, you have the relative who brings like for 30 people this much. Really, Rob? Well, I thought we all just wanted to taste. Well, that's not going to fill me up. So there's lots of chilies coming today in the afternoon. And if you're here for the first time, come join us because it's a great way to get to know us. And we always have more room at our table. And if you have your hand up as a first timer, our ushers will bring you a visitor's pack. Anybody here for the very first time? Oh, wonderful. Well, congratulations. Thanks so much for joining us. In the back there, Fred? In the very back of the great. And if you're too shy to raise your hand, that's okay. You can get a packet out in the foyer after services. And we got a bake sale going on today. My gosh, it's just and thank you for streaming. If you're out there in TV land, I was one of you last week. I love that we have that opportunity to participate. It's not the same as being here with you guys, I gotta say, but it fills that need on Sundays to at least see your faces. So, with no further ado, our spiritual and musical inspiration, Mr. Harold Payne.
So I said, I'm actually doing 2 songs today that I wrote with Faith Rivera, and that was kind of her version of This Little Light. Yeah. There's a burning feeling in the bottom of your soul that only your heart understands. Everybody's got a little love inside to give away. All you really need is a chance. Time is wasted. You don't have to wait another minute to let your dreams take you to the limit. Shine on, shine on. Open up and let your light shine on. Oh, oh, shine on. Oh, oh, shine on. Open up and let your light shine on. Even if you never had a moment in your life when you were free enough to let yourself go, it's okay to take a little leap of faith sometime, or how will you ever know? The world is waiting for you to share the gifts that you've been given. It's never too late for a new beginning. Shine on, shine on. Oh, open up and let your light shine on. Oh, oh, shine on, hey, shine on. Open up and let your light shine on. Hey. is on you now. Open up and let your light shine on. Little louder now. Open up and let your light shine on. We're shining all morning. Open up and let your light. Let it shine, yeah. Open up and let your light shine, oh yeah. Open up and let your light shine, oh, shine. Open up and let your light shine on. Open up and let your light shine, oh. Thank you.
Well, Harold, thank you very much. That was shining and stellar. Now, that's just the type of pain that's great, isn't it? Good morning. It's my pleasure to deliver today's Science of Mind lesson based upon Dr. Moira's talk, Your Invisible Power. Ernest Holmes, founder of Science of Mind, addresses invisible power very early in the textbook on the second page of the introduction, and I quote, "The study of the science of mind is a study of first cause, spirit, mind, or that invisible essence, that ultimate stuff and intelligence from which everything comes, the power back of creation, the thing itself." So here we hear those words, invisible essence, power back of creation. Now, in addition to this list from Ernest, many other words are used to try and describe that invisible power. You hear ministers and practitioners use presence, energy, universe, the one, and God, and one of Dr. Moira's favorites, source, which she describes as yummy. This invisible power, the infinite thing itself, is indescribable. Or, as the Mound's chocolate coconut bar says, indescribably delicious. Ernest Holmes would say that there is a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. But the topic today is your invisible power. It is my belief that we are all part of the one universal mind, and your invisible power is your individualized consciousness expressing as objective and subjective mind. Thoughts are invisible but powerful. Those objective thoughts, when held with passion, conviction, and belief, are planted into subjective mind, also called the subconscious, the law, the soul, which is your invisible power, because it has the power to create and manifest in your life. Demonstrations occur. Ernest Holmes says on page 57, this law is the law which puts the act into all action. It is the invisible actor working through us, and as a result, it makes possible a concrete manifestation. People like me to quote from scriptures, so I will go to the New Testament, Hebrews chapter 11, because it too talks about invisible. Now, faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I like to say that faith is the assurance of things believed in, and here, although the power is not seen, the demonstrations are. I know that I have had numerous demonstrations in my life, including prosperity, loving relationships, employment relationships, and health using my invisible power. I have no doubt that your thoughts and your use of the law and subjective mind have worked for you. The question that only you can answer is, has the use of your invisible power worked beneficially in your life? It's indescribably delicious. Give it a try. Please repeat after me. My source is invisible power. I have invisible power. I use my invisible power to attract love, health, and happiness in my life. To attract love, health, and happiness in my life. And so it is. Please stand for the congregational song, You Are the Light.
You are the light of love. I am the light of love. You are the light and I am the light. We are the light of love. You are the light of peace. I am the light of peace. You are the light and I am the light. We are the light of peace. You are the light of joy. I am the light of joy. You are the light and I am the light. We are the light of joy. You are the light of hope. I am the light of hope. You are the light and I am the light. We are the light of hope. You are the light of love. I am the light of love. You are the light and I am the light. We are the light of love. Yes, you are the light and I am the light. We are the light of love. Wow. Yay! And now for our announcement.
Hi, everybody! It's June 10th, so in 4 days, I'm going to be completing my 17th journey around the sun. I'm really excited because it's a time of rebirth and new beginnings. And the next two announcements are about indescribable deliciousness. The first one is about the chili cook-off. It's today after the second service, so this one. There are many different pots of chili to sample, including gumbo chili and Jan's chili, which is signs of I believe. And my Indian grandpa's chili from India, which is curry. And we also have freshly made potato salad and coleslaw with lots of fruit. Don't forget the potluck desserts. The cost is $6 for adults and $3 for children 12 and under. The chili is served outside behind Richelieu Hall. Go out through the door by the kitchen. We'll see you there. The Teen Bake Sale is also today. All money is raised to help teens go to camp, which is coming up in July. We're all over there. You can see our beautiful faces. So you can have yourself a full meal. You could just go get your desserts. You can have your chili. It's going to be great. Men's Spirit Group meets today at 12:30 p.m. in Richelieu Hall. Visioning with Dr. Moira is on Mondays at 6 p.m. This is a golden half hour of visioning and meditation. It's a great way to begin your week. Operation Sparkle is Saturday, June 16th at 9 a.m. If you would like to help, please let Marianne Amato know. The Labyrinth Walk is Thursday, June 21st at 6 p.m. in Richelieu Hall. Namaste Cafe is Friday, June 22nd at 7:30 p.m. in Richelieu Hall. The entertainment includes Jimmy Yamagichi, Diana Green, Jody Siegel, Serenity, and Cleopatra's Court, which is a group of belly dancers. The family picnic is Sunday, June 24th after second service. It will be at Alta Vista Park, and the center will provide fried chicken for you, and you're asked to bring a dish that corresponds to your last name. Tickets are $5 for adults and $3 for children 12 and under. We always have practitioners on duty. Look for them under the practitioner sign in the foyer. We also offer prayer circle after both services. If you would like to be a part of it, please come to the grand piano after service. Please remain seated for the meditation song.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Be careful what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
And so here I am in this moment now, with infinite possibility available to me. Once I can put aside the outer world and all of its busyness and enter into that state, that absolute state of vast, infinite being, and simply relax in it. That's all. Relax in it. Without any thought for the need of anything. Just to be in the presence, just to be in that whole state of being, relaxed, just pondering one thing and one thing alone. I'm in the presence of life itself with all of its magnificence, and it is in me. And I am enjoying the awareness of it. That in and of itself is enough to take care of any ailment, any concern. That enough in itself is sufficient to bring about integration and alignment. The conscious awareness that I am in the presence of infinite life with all of its magnificence and power, and it is in me. Enough to know for everything to come into alignment and for all to be revealed. The beauty and the grace of it, the amazement and awe and wonder of it, to know that's all that is required for me to take care of all of the business of my life, to know that right where I am, God is. And where God is, all is well. And I am whole and complete. And I give thanks for this moment of conscious awareness, to be privileged enough to have the capacity to know this and to choose to know this, surrendered of all that is unlike the truth that sets me free, releasing everything unlike spirit from any aspect of my being, from my life. And caressing the caress that is forever and eternally caressing me, the kiss of life. And in it is the answer to everything. In it is the healing balm for any ailment. In it is the realization of joy that is complete, peace that passes understanding, and a sense of opulence and abundance in every aspect of life and living. That's what it is, to be consciously conscious of the presence of life itself, the presence itself. And I am knowing this now, I am feeling this now. And what I know and feel now for myself and in myself and through myself, I am knowing for every person on this planet and for every living thing, all of creation. That sense and sensibility of all being well and the presence pulsating in every single atom, everything and everyone. I am blessed in this awareness, and I bless all of life as a consequence. And I call it all good and very good as it was called in the beginning. And now from that deep core, that inner wisdom, that seat of grace, I send forth this that I know to be true as a blessing upon all of life, to move through all of life, knowing it is magnified because it is responded to by the law of life itself. And I'm grateful as I say, and so it is.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. And every thought becomes our prayer.
Good morning and welcome, everybody. How are you all today? Oh, half of you are feeling good. The other half says I'm facing a whole lot of chili, and I'm thinking about that because I was told this morning to remember that today the message was all about chili. So I've conveyed the message, I've done what I was told, and now on into this thing called the hidden power within. So, as I was sharing this morning, once upon a time, a long time ago, there were these few who happened upon the key to life. And they cherished it and kept it a sacred secret. And only the few were invited in who were deemed worthy to be ready to enter in to sharing in the secret of life. And this went on for eons. Now, I know an eon is 1 billion years, but an eon to us means a very, very long time. In science, it's 1 billion years. But it could be 10 hours at the airport, feels like it, an eon. And then through the ages, you know, people were thirsting for this, to be part of the secret and endeavoring to become part of the secret and wanted to break into that secret and to be part of that inner core and the sacred few and the special ones and all of that. And here we are today, and this secret is no longer a secret. It's known for anybody who wants to see it or hear it. It's out there for all to embrace, every single one without exception. There are no special ones called into the inner sanctum of the secret of the knowledge of life. All of us now have it available to us. In fact, it has become so familiar, and it's become such a status quo thing that we miss it. Most of us miss it. We're not aware of it anymore. It's like too much of anything. After you get too much of anything, you just say, oh, I don't think so. That's what happens. That's what happens when over-familiarity with something starts to sink in and seep into our consciousness. Well, the key to all of life and its wonderment, the key to a marvelous, magnificent experience of life and living is to embody, to understand, and to have the experience of what it is to be consciously conscious. It is to know and to experience what this invisible power is all about. That invisible power is what Ernest Holmes says is the power for good in the universe greater than we are, that we get to use and we get to direct. And ours is the privilege of doing so. Ours is the privilege of doing so. In the textbook, Ernest Holmes says, in the invisible spiritual world, which is the mind of the absolute, the mind of the infinite, resides all of the patterns of all of the things that we see. And out of this invisible, infinite, amazing consciousness, everything exists in it and originates from it. Everything exists in it and originates from it. Every single thing that you and I see, including ourselves, was once a conscious idea in formlessness, unformed. And then, as Ernest continues to educate us and tell us, and many more like him, if you and I consciously become aware of an idea, and we think upon the idea, we move upon the idea consistently, deliberately, convictedly, along the line of a particular result, that result comes to us and happens. If you and I have an idea and we are so committed to thinking upon that particular line of thought with conviction, we will realize the end result. There is no doubt about it, because that is the law of mind in action. It is the creative process of life. And Ernest Holmes says, I ask only one thing of you, just one thing I ask of you, is to believe absolutely in the creative process, because if you don't believe in it, it will work along the lines of what you don't believe in, and you cannot attain your good. Believe, only believe. Why? Because he says every single thing is belief based. Now, you and I know that. You and I have known this for a long time, some of us, and some of us are just getting into it now. And then those of us who have known it for a long time will still say, but however, I'm still efforting, I'm still endeavoring, I'm still trying to realize this, that, and the other, regardless of what it is. It may be mental, it may be physical, it may be an emotional thing, it may be a spiritual thing. Whatever that is, I'm still on that trajectory where I'm efforting in order to achieve and succeed in this. And that's interesting. You know what we're all like, as I was sharing again this morning? We were just like this fellow that was seeking his fortune all the time and worked hard at seeking his fortune, very hard at seeking his fortune, but it wasn't happening for him. And so eventually came to the idea, you know what, it's not working for me here. I have to go somewhere else to find my fortune. And so he sells his field and off he goes, only to discover later that what he sold was a field of diamonds. He was sitting on a field of diamonds. It was under his rumpus. He was sitting on it. It was there. And very often, what we're looking for, we're sitting on, it's under our rumpus. But we cannot see it, so we think we have to go elsewhere for it. Just like the guy who again was seeking his fortune very diligently and hard-workingly, and decided, it's not happening for me here, I'll go to the big city. I will go to the big city, and there I'll find my fortune. So he sells his land and off he goes to the big city, and guess what? Later he discovers what he sold was a very, very rich oil field right under his feet. He even saw guys go down there and look at the river and look at this dark stuff in the river and so on and so forth. And eventually they came back and gave him the offer. He said yes, and that was it. You see, we want to be like the fellow in the scripture that discovers the rich treasure in the field. And we're told he goes, sells everything, and buys the field. And it's the pearl of great price is the analogy that he buys. He buys the treasure because he knows there's treasure in the field, and he sells everything he owns to get this field. And there he finds his rich treasure. You and I are sitting on the greatest of all treasures. It's under our rumpus. But let me tell you, we're still out there pegging away in the world looking for what it is we think we need in order to live this great life, instead of getting up, standing up and looking down and seeing what's under our feet, you see. And that rich treasure is that invisible power, the power for good in the universe greater than we are, that we get to use and direct, if we so choose to consciously move through your mind every day in such a way that you're directing this power toward the good that you desire, and that you're able and disciplined enough and consistent enough to keep supporting that idea and thinking into that idea and thinking into that idea and thinking into that idea with the joy and the expectancy of knowing that it's on its way to you. It's ready to burst into your life because you're so burgeoning with this desire. That's our treasure. How are we using it? How are we using it? You see, I believe now that this life of ours is simply one great big treasure hunt. It's a game. It's a great big treasure hunt. And you or I are on the hunt for this wonderful treasure. Now, the game can be a delightful one, it can be a playful one, it can be a very happy one, it can be very wondrous indeed, or it can be miserable. It can be miserable. Or I can sit back and watch everybody else go hunting for treasure and calling them fools, because they're never going to get the treasure. There's no such thing. Or you and I can be what every enlightened person was, connected, engaged, consciously in the process of unfolding more and more and more of that essential essence within themselves, this invisible power, through being absolutely committed. And I'm not talking about 100%. I'm talking about at least 1,000% commitment here. I'm talking about come what may, floods or fires or whatever else, I will not be toppled or I will not move from my idea that I know is there for me, that I know is desirous of being expressed through me, and I'm supposed to facilitate it. I will not be moved until this is so, and nothing and nothing or any evidence to the contrary can stop me or block me from realizing my good. That's 1,000% commitment, and that's what it takes if you and I want to find the treasure that is under our noses within ourselves. You see, the only need you and I have in this world is the need to go into ourselves, to move into the home of ourselves, and to discover there the treasure that abounds, the opulent treasure that abounds, a treasure that you can't ever even imagine. No eye has seen, no ear has heard what great things of delight that spirit life has in store for those who accept the presence and its love. And its love. Believe in its presence, believe in its love, believe that I am so cherished. I am so treasured. I am so significant. I am such an individual, unique, one only aspect of the divine that I am it, and there's no difference between me and it. I am the breath, as you hear me say, in the breath of life. I am the pulse in the pulse of life. I am the beat in the beat of life. It doesn't get any closer or more aligned than that. Now, the key to all of this and the release of that treasure is to go mining for it. Go mining for it. For that means you must take a leap. You must take a jump. You must jump up out of the ordinary. You must jump out of same old, same old. You must jump up of your inertia. And you must leap into that wonderful sense of the unknown. You have to jump up out of the comfortable to leap into that which is uncomfortable. You have to jump up out of the known into that which is unknown. And if you're willing to do that, that's the start. That's the start, to take the leap, to muster up the energy that you have that abounds within you, and jump in joy, knowing it's finally hit me. I finally got it. I'm going all out for it. No ifs, ands, buts, and doubts about it. When? When? Now, exactly. Now, Albert Schweitzer, very wise fellow, was asked some time ago, what in the name of goodness is the problem with humanity? And his response was 4 words. He says, men simply don't think. Men simply don't think. Now, what he meant by that was, very few of us think consciously. Very few of us direct our thought. Very few of us have the gumption, have the ability, the know-how to take hold of that power, that force that's to be reckoned to, and to use it, to cooperate with it, to consciously acknowledge it, and consciously move it upon the line of good, so that I can support that in my thought, in my thinking, in my feeling, be convicted, and then realize and experience what it is that I've been thinking about. Because everything seen comes out of that which is unseen. Everything that is was once just an idea. Every form was once formless. It was energy. It was potential stuff. It was a potential tree, a potential house, a potential whatever, once upon a time. And because I accepted, yes, I will take that job. Speaking of jobs, here's another thing in life. You don't have to look for the fancy big jobs that pay the big wages, you know. I'm not starting. I mean, youngsters today don't want to start work unless they're getting 6 figures. I've heard that from 1 or 2 of them. So if it's not 6 figures, I'm not interested. Not interested. Well, once upon a time, very, very recently, there was a young man who loved, ordinary everyday guy, loved to cut grass. When he was a kid, he used to cut the grass for the neighbors and so on, really enjoyed it. And so he started to cut grass for a living, and then when he'd go out with his friends, you know, on a Friday night and so on, they would want to keep the night going and so on, and at a certain point he'd say, you know, lads, I've got to go home now, I'm going home now. And they'd say, oh, come on, it's too early, stay. He said, no, get up in the morning because I have to go cut grass. And they all laughed. And he would go and he would do that, and he loved cutting grass. And he kept cutting grass and enjoying it and having a lovely time with, you know, one with nature and so on, the gardens and so on and so forth. In no time at all, he was earning $4 million a year. Cutting grass, it began with. Cutting grass. Why? Because he loved what he did. That's what made it different for him than all the other little trucks and lorries you see running around cutting grass. They were doing it for a living. He was doing it because he loved to cut grass and he loved to be in gardens. There's the difference. Or the other chap, again, another ordinary, everyday young fellow, he loved to detail cars. He loved detailing cars. And he had a great sense of satisfaction when the car was spanking and shining and so on. And, you know, he decided that's what he was going to try and make a living at. And, you know, his fellow friends would say, God, you're not going to amount to much detailing cars. Well, guess what? Very soon, his income was $80,000 a year, and every single year it moved up and up and up and up and up. Because he loved detailing cars. That's what separated him from the other folk who were just detailing cars for a living. You see the difference. Engagement, 1,000% engagement. And when that chap was cutting his grass, he was happy, he was grateful, he was thankful. He could see himself cutting more and more grass and so on and so forth, because that's what he had chosen to make as his life's work. And he supported it. That was his field of diamonds. That was his gold. And it could be black gold, because sometimes when you're mining for diamonds, you reach coal, but one way or another, in the past anyway, coal was a good thing to be mining for. It's up to you whether or not you're going to access the treasure within you, because it's in you, and it doesn't matter what you're feeling or what you've gone through. And yes, life can be really challenging, and some terrible and awful things can happen. Now, you can lie down and bury yourself under the terrible, awful things that have happened and say, woe is me, and I can't succeed and achieve because this has happened to me. That's not the truth. Yes, it was awful. Yes, it was terrible, but that cannot stop you and block you from succeeding and achieving and feeling good about yourself. If you decide who you are, if you decide to contact that inner source within you, if you decide that that power within you is indeed the power and the presence of the Almighty, omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent, a beautiful, amazing energy of life, that is this gorgeous, yummy presence. Yes, you have to give up the idea of the God as Superman. You have to give up the idea of the God somewhere or another that you're hoping is listening to you and hopes responds to you, and maybe one day you'll see the face of God. Every day you look into the mirror, you're seeing the face of God. Every day you look into anybody else's face, you're seeing the face of God. It's in your face, this teaching it. It's in your face, under your nose, under your proverbial spiritual derriere. I mean, really, it doesn't get closer than that. It doesn't get closer than that. You're it. You're it. You are it. You were it. You are it. You always will be it. And you can think what you like, because it's going to all one day be so clear to you, and one day you're just going to say, yes, 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 I can, because I am, and therefore I can, and since I can, I will succeed. I will achieve in breaking into the key, the secret of life itself. That right where I am, there is a power for good in the universe greater than I am, and I get to direct it. I get to use it for the good. The good, always for the good. My own good and the good of all. And never, ever, ever want good for yourself without wanting it for everything and everyone else too. Because there's only the one. There's only the one. There's only the one life living itself in many, 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 many ways. Now, sometimes you may bump into that life and you mightn't like what you see. It doesn't matter. That's the one life. You may bump into that life and you might love what you see, and it's wonderful because you know that's the one life. It's easy to see it's the one life because it's a game, this game of life, and God loves to show up in many disguises, and the deeper the disguise, the harder it is to get beyond the appearance and go beyond the appearance and see the image and the likeness and the power and the presence of the divine, because what you see will be seen back at you as what you see. And it's an amazing mirror, this world. It's a hall of mirrors, a world of mirrors. There's only mirrors to look into, and it's all godly. in some way, shape, make, or form. So that treasure that is within you now, that invisible power, that amazing, awesome, invisible, spiritual power that you are not lacking to the slightest iota, but the fullness of it is within you. No more was in the Buddha, no more was in the Christed Jesus, no more is in the Dalai Lama or anybody else we can think of in high regard today. No more of it is in any one of those than is in you right now, and always will be. And at your worst moment, in your most terrible moment, in your most crazed moment, in your most mistaken moment, it still was as bright and as beautiful as it is when you're in your holiest of moments. You cannot deplete it. You cannot distract from it you cannot detach from it, and you cannot take from it in the slightest degree, no matter what debauched life anyone has lived. It's still glowing on fire and glorious and smiling in repose, saying, oh, one of these days you'll get it. That's okay. It's all right. There's plenty of time, all of eternity. Don't worry. Sooner or later it's going to come through you. I'm telling you, I'm not concerned. I'm not concerned. You're beautiful. You're amazing. You're grand. You're my beloved. You are my image. You are my likeness. I am so tickled when I feel the beat of your beat within the beat that I am. I just am jazzed that I've created such an amazing, extraordinary, individualized piece of art. I mean, art pales by comparison. Nature pales by comparison to the light that lives within you, to the glory that lives within you, to the magnificence that lives within you, and it lives within you right now. And there we are, bowed down by all of the things we think we are not and haven't got, and the long, long way we have to go to be whole again. Oh my goodness. Bow down. I say, be done with it. Let it go. Stop thinking about yourself less than, and think of yourself as you are thought of in the one power, in the one mind, in the one presence, in the one infinite being, as that which is good and very good, as that which is the beloved in whom God is well pleased, as that which is one with the one. The Father and I are one. For goodness sake, think on those things for a change, instead of woe is me and oh my God and how am I going to, and blah, 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 blah. And it's not fair because they have this going for them and they have that going for them, and look at me, I've nothing going for me, and oh my God, I think, oh, what's the use? Beam me up, Scotty. Beam me up, Scotty. Oh, really? I mean, just thinking about it, me just saying it here is wearing me out, depleting me of my energy. No, it's not. I cancel that. You could be thinking anything you want to think. Why wouldn't you think high thoughts? Why wouldn't you direct the energy within you along the lines of high thoughts? Why wouldn't you? Because you can. That's the only way you're going to know that God and I, life and I, are one, and it's great and it's grand and it's glorious, and it gets better and better and better, and the best is always yet to be. Do you believe it? Yes. So it is. So it is. Yes to the game of life, and we will play it. And now we're going to have some words from Mrs. McKinney or Reverend Mama or whatever the heck she goes by these days.
I am one of those who went to Arrowhead this year. I was expecting great food like everyone promised. And it was visibly beautiful in every way. I couldn't have imagined, however, the impact that it made on me emotionally, spiritually, and I don't even know how to say. This event is not a cure for what ails you or a solution for all your problems, but the experience just opened me up in a way that simply feels so good. And I know that even more comes to me. I'm just so glad I took the jump and just signed up and went. Thank you.
That's beautiful. And may I just say now, for those of you who might think that you'd like to go, please sign up now and get on the payment list, because then you won't feel the payments every month and it'll be all done by the time Arrowhead comes around. But honest to goodness, everybody should experience Arrowhead at least once. And so if you haven't, sign up. I guarantee you will not regret it, and you will find that every penny was worth it, and then some. So if that's on your mind, this would be the time to sign up so that you can just take it easy and get that payment program going, and you will not regret it, I promise you. So let's take our gifts now between our blessing hands as we really are jazzed about the law of reciprocity and know what goes around comes around. And let's bless our gift and say, divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Thank you.
As always, I'm inspired by your talk. We have treasure beyond measure, but sometimes we lose our invisible compass. But it's under our rumpus. Right there, under our spiritual derriere. Something great is happening. Love is taking hold, and it won't let go of us now. Something here is calling us forward, upward motion. With drops in one ocean. Roll on. Will you rise up with me today? Lift up your voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. Be the dream of your highest calling. Be the hope of a new day dawning. We're the ones who can make a difference. Let's stand together. Share this with the world that's waiting for a change that we're all creating. It's a moment for our greatness. Let's stand together now. Ooh, right now. Every day's a chance you can do something amazing, to feel your passion blazing and shine. Peak with every vision and dance in new directions. Explode to new heights in your mind. I will rise up with you today. Lift up my voice and boldly say, we are the ones we've been waiting for. stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. I think we are. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together now. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together. Let's stand together. Everybody, let's stand together.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harold. Harold always brings the party with him, and it's always fun. It's always fun. And he gets us up off our derrieres too, which is an added bonus. Added bonus. Thank you, Harold. It's always a joy. And our great bugler today, we have Jim with us today, playing the trumpet. Yeah. And as always, we have the Blessed Trinity that's always producing great good sounds. And now chili awaits. I believe there's a jambalaya chili this year. Fish chili? Well, anyway, we'll see. So have a splendid week, everybody, and please, every morning when you get up, every night when you go to bed, just look in the mirror and know you're seeing the face of God, really and truly, and I'm serious about that. And if you do it with sincerity, after a while, you'll begin to feel the difference, know the difference, and the difference will show up in your life. Absolutely guaranteed. You just have to be disciplined and do the practice. And so now we're going to stand for our... No, we're not. I think it's because I stand for the prayer.
They could.
All right, we're dedicating this prayer now for the release of inner wisdom within each and every one of us and in our world. Here we go. And remember, everybody, keep in mind and heart all of those who are enduring all kinds of hardships at the moment for all kinds of reasons. All over the world, there are many, many people not doing so well. We're the privileged ones that are. So let's keep them close to mind and close to heart and not take our privilege for granted. I know divine love enfolds me. Divine light leads me. Divine life lives in me. Divine wisdom inspires me. Divine compassion expresses through me. And divine power protects me. All that I am is Spirit's life and expression. It is good and very good. With deep joy and generosity filling me, I go forward now in sacred service, supporting a compassionate world that works for all. I move through my days with grace and ease, in peace and love, in health and wellness, in fullness and plenty, and in loving relationship with all. What I now know for myself, with blessing and in deep gratitude, I know for all life. There is only love, there is only love, there is only love. And now we'll have our peace song, and we'll dedicate that to peace in our homes as well as in our world.